So with Liverpool going to Inter Milan in the Champions League, James, you've got to think about the best front threes in European football. Most people say that about Liverpool. What is their best front three right now with some great signings? And what do you think it's going to be next year? That's a big one.
Yeah, massive question here because they've now Liverpool have finally got the depth here. I think it feels like you're going to buy someone like Luis Diaz. Obviously, he's got to earn the right. Mane is still a frightening player. I still feel like it is the same front three of the season in terms of Jota, Salah, and Mane on that left hand side. But I do feel like, in particular, I think Firmino's time is. He's on borrowed time now. I feel like he's coming to the end there. Salah, they're trying to get that contract done. Obviously, there was so much talk as well with Salah wanting improvements in the squad. I wonder if Luis Diaz is enough for that, or if he wants a few more. I guess time will tell. But we expect Salah to sign. Jota is in incredible form this year. It's Mane, isn't it? It's Mane or Luis Diaz. I mean, Luis Diaz, do you feel like he's got the talent to sort of usurp Mane and take that spot, or especially in these big games? That's a big question, isn't it? Like, who's the Don right now? That's the question, right?
Yeah, the Don right now is still Sadio Mane, as we saw at the Africa Cup of Nations. But long term, it's not just talent, it's youthfulness. I mean, the age thing is, when it comes to Liverpool and their recruitment, it's definitely a factor for them. They want to think, on the next 5-year deal that we give Sadio Mane in the summer, he'll have a year left. Is that going to get us the top value? And I think he'll be earning such a high salary that will take him into his mid-30s. They will feel that maybe they invest their future into Luis Diaz, and maybe it's the right time to cash in on Sadio Mane and give some of those additions to Mo Salah, who will get that big 5-year contract, and improve the team in other areas. So, listen, I agree.
Would you sell him on, Hugh?
If I was Liverpool, I would, but I personally would not, because I think he's an absolutely brilliant player, and I think they've got enough money to keep him and keep him happy. He's outstanding. I think he's in good enough physical condition to keep going. But I think the way that Liverpool have recruited, it's been very shrewd. It's been very clever. Their ability to sell players for maximum value is pretty much unmatched. And I think they will want to keep that going. They've already bought in a ready-made replacement. I think Roberto Firmino, you're right, will be one of those that goes out the door. He's already been replaced, if you like, by Diogo Jota. Yeah. Maybe it's going to be Sadio Mane, or maybe they keep him and they have a front four and it's Firmino who leaves. And I think they maybe feel well equipped with Diaz, Mane, Salah, and Jota.
With Liverpool going into this game, I think they're obviously favourites. I guess another question is, are they one of the favourites for the entire tournament? But with the sort of dual fronts of looking to win the Premier League, of course, and they've still got a lot to do to get back to Man City, and they can't drop points. I was asking a friend, like, how many points can they drop this year and still win the league? And he said 9. And I was like, I'm not even sure he can drop 9 with Man City playing the way they are. So with that in mind, should they focus solely on the Champions League here, especially with a game against Inter Milan, which is going to be tough?
It's not their DNA. It's not Jurgen Klopp's DNA to do that. They'll try and take it a game at a time. They almost thrive when it's game after game after game after game. We've seen that. They almost like that energy. They, of course, work off the incredible crowd at Anfield in all of their home games. They feel when they go away from home like they will have enough to hurt teams 1, 2, or 3 goals. And that makes them a great team in the Champions League, I think, in particular. And I think they've got more chance of winning that than they have the Premier League title, simply because of the gap to Manchester City. And we know what a great team Manchester City are. I don't think there are enough good teams in the Premier League to take points away from Manchester City.
I agree with you. I really, really feel like this is Liverpool's year. I think Liverpool are going to win the Champions League this year. Obviously, it's such a task for them to win the Premier League. A question for everyone watching right now, though, especially Liverpool fans: what would you rather have? You've won the Champions League, you've won the Premier League recently, you've been very, very lucky. But which one would you want this year? Would you want that Premier League title? I reckon it's that. Or would you prefer the Champions League and be champions of Europe and beat Man City maybe in the final of that? Let us know in the comments down below. Let's get to this game then, Hugh, because I think this is a fascinating one, because I still believe Inter Milan are the best team in Serie A. Got a draw against Napoli, which we predicted. Yes, finally, we got one right. But Napoli were pretty strong, actually, in that game. Going into this one, for me, the big question mark is can they deal with the press of Liverpool? Key player for them is Brozovic in the Champions League. He had 94 touches per 90, 75% accuracy of his passes as well. So important, the metronome for that Inter Milan side. Is he press-proof enough? And also in likes of Dzeko, who's got a fantastic record against Liverpool. I think he scored in his last 3 games, but it's over the span of like 3 or 4 years, even more than that, possibly. Can they deal with that Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson press in that midfield and get the ball up and hurt Liverpool in this game?
I actually think it will not entertain in the way that many hope it will when they look at those 2 big names and those big legends of European football on the door, if you like. I think Inter Milan will do what they have to do to stay in the game. And I think that means that they will defend quite deep and they will absorb a lot of pressure and they won't worry about breaking through the press. They will go direct and long and maybe try and bypass midfield. They've got Edin Dzeko as a focal point. They've got 2 very wide players if they want to hit diagonal balls. And I think that is the way that they will try and get out of it. It will be very direct. And that means that I don't think it's going to be a classic by any stretch of the imagination. But I do think they have enough, and I hate to use this word, but to ruin the tie and go through if they keep both games tight. And I think that's going to be how they can do it. I think there's great players at Inter Milan, very high quality players, but I think the system that Jurgen Klopp has got in place at Liverpool has been very fruitful in this competition. It works really, really well for them, and it has that goal scoring element to it. And of course, the key against Liverpool is to stop them scoring and stop them scoring high. And I think that's going to be the key. And it will be, and I hate to say, it will be broken up play. It will be the referee blowing the whistle. It will be players staying down. It will be doing everything that we can and using all of our experience and nous to stay in the tie with Liverpool. And I think that's very, very important. I think it could be a very low scoring tie over 2 games if Inter Milan play to their best. They can go through, but do you see any way that they stop Liverpool over the 2 legs?
The thing that I struggle with, and the reason I think Liverpool win this tie and go forward, is the fullback positions. I think they'll pin back Perisic. I think they'll pin back Dumfries or Darmian, depending on who plays. And I think there's space there. You've got those 3 centre-backs, but I still think they can create those overloads. And maybe it's one where Jota sort of pops up. He's been so predatory so far this season. And the quality that Robertson and Trent provide, I think, will be the difference in this game. But I think you're right. I think it's going to be awkward. And I don't think it'll be 2 clean sheets for Liverpool at all. So that's my final prediction. I think, Liverpool to go through, maybe on aggregate, I'm going to go with something like maybe 3-1 on aggregate. What do you think?
Yeah, very tight. I'd probably say Liverpool 2-1 on aggregate over the 2 legs. Hi, I'm Hugh Woozencroft from ESPN's Football Forecast. Make sure you're subscribed. You can follow all of our predictions throughout the season and get some other great analysis from our big names as well.